Hello, it's Mike Rhyner of Your Dark Companion here, wanting to thank you all for joining us on patreon.com throughout the year, or that portion of the year that we've been doing this. Also, don't forget to check out the Sunset Lounge. There you can find podcasts such as The Clubhouse. The Clubhouse is your one-stop shop for all things sports, pop culture, entertainment, pro wrestling. Who knows what else these guys might get into. I love these guys. They're great. Since 2010, they brought their knowledge and passion for these subjects and so much more to the internet in a way that is entertaining and engaging. Their show is family friendly, so it's okay to sit down with grandma and be a part of all their shenanigans. They are the Clubhouse. They're at the Sunset Lounge.
Nobody would have thought that I would be the one. Rhyner, sports talk. Baseball, 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 baseball.
Oh, with the big mic. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, now I get it.
We had a lightning strike, boys. What happened over there, Grego? We had a little lightning strike right outside the window.
All right. Here's a tip for all these Americano League teams.
Wait, you said tip.
Yeah, tip.
Okay.
With a P.
Keep jamming.
The ticket, colon, nothing but a big Gen X jerk-off sale.
This is a cool night or what?
Although somebody would hear that and go, bullshit.
I'm back, bitches.
Well, hello and ring-a-ding-ding, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of Your Dark Companion. Glad to have you with us no matter where you are, no matter how or when or even why you may be consuming this podcast. We're glad to have you. It is the 21st of May today. It's going to be a little hot here in the D, they're telling us. Always like to do that for all the out-of-towners who are watching the thing. But never mind that. We've got a big story going on here in our Fairburg. A big story. And that big story has to do with the Dallas Hockey Stars, who have made the Final Four in the National Hockey League tournament. And they are ready to roll and get on with the next round tonight. It's going to be difficult. The hated Edmonton Oilers will be around. But to commemorate the occasion, we have Brad Alberts, the Stars CEO.
It's very loud. Love the intro.
This is a go big or go home world, and when you get into the Stars media guide and the club roster starts, the name Brad Alberts comes behind one and only one, and that is the owner, Tom Gallardi. Get past Mr. Gallardi, you get to Brad.
Yeah, lucky me.
Thank you for doing this, man.
Thank you for having me.
I know this must be a really hairy, crazy time for you.
Well, it's fun. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Anxiety filled, as you all know, and intensity driven, but it's fun. It's where we want to be here 3 years in a row. You got to pinch ourselves and pinch myself. I think it says a lot about our organization, and we've got, it's the second golden era of Stars hockey, 98 to, 01. And we're in that second golden era. We've got one less thing to do. We know what that is.
And, it's crazy, and I'm sure that you got people yanking on you left and right for this and that. And it probably drives you nuts from time to time, but at the end of the day, this is why you do it.
No, you're right, Mike. It is. This is why we do it. If it's indicative of the ticket request tonight, the AC is going to be jamming because everybody's coming out of the woodwork wanting to come to tonight's game. It's what we do this for. It's what we're trying to do for the city, our organization. We're trying to win another Stanley Cup and bring it back to Big D. We put ourselves in a position to do it again. We have a healthy team. We've got a talented team, probably as talented as since 99. It's all there. We have great faith in the guys, and now they got to go do it.
That's all it takes. Just getting out there and doing it. Nothing to do with it, but just do it.
Right,
That's-
exactly.
You know,
It's
that's
as simple as that.
Yeah, it all comes down to just that this time
Just
of
win.
year. Well, as far as the club and the goes, you are healthy. That's
Yeah.
good. I mean, there have been some injured guys coming back here in recent years. And the way injuries are treated in hockey is just always a mind blow to me, because you have upper body injuries, lower body injuries, but you never know what those are. You try to get information from guys who are in a position to know and probably do know, and it's all very vague. Well, he might skate today, and if he does, we'll see, or he might skate tomorrow, and it's all just a big gray area, but that's just the way of the game.
It's one big mystery. The sport loves it. The coaches love it. I think for the last 2.5 weeks, it was the Miro mystery. Every media member asked Pete nonstop, when's Miro going to play? To your point, we all knew what was going on and when Miro was going to play. We just didn't say it. And we're happy that he's back. And certainly the way he played the other night and skated, he's back. The Miro of old is there. And I think that makes us really, really excited to go into this matchup with Miro going up against McDavid, now healthy.
Now, this is your second hitch with the team. Were you here for the first Stanley Cup in '99?
I was a youngster back in those days. I thought it was easy to win. I joined the club, and 3 years later, we won the Stanley Cup. And I'm like, this is how this goes. We can do this every year. Needless to say, 25 years later, it's hard. And it's really hard. But yes, I started in '96 after the franchise just got here, selling tickets. I've been blessed to spend the last 30 years in Dallas with both the Stars and the Rangers. I've grown up with this city in sports. I think I understand the sports marketplace pretty well here. I've seen this market expand both geographically and certainly the sports business. And I came back to the team in 2012 when it was coming out of the bankruptcy. It looked bankrupt. It smelled bankrupt. We knew what we had to do. I knew it was going to be the hardest thing I've ever done professionally. And to see where we are now, to see this thing back to where it should be, is an enormous kind of prideful moment for me and a lot of other people.
Now, for those of us who don't ordinarily go through things like that, what were some of the things you were looking at that made it difficult?
Well, the fan base had dissolved and dissipated significantly. Our ticket numbers, not only financially, but also just people coming to the games, our attendance figures were abysmal. They were some of the lowest in the league. Our revenues as a club were not where they used to be and where they needed to be. The brand was damaged. People thought we were moving. Our youth hockey business was damaged. It wasn't where it needed to be. Every fundamental, every department, Mike, that you check when you're looking at the business needed significant work. And I remember putting a checklist together and going, don't go 50 down because it'll seem overwhelming. Just go one by one and start to check the box. And we did that. And now to look back at where we are, it's incredible.
It is incredible. It seems like just a extraordinarily healthy franchise.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Top 5 in the league.
And we have, a few of those around here. We know what that looks like. Are you surprised at all by the way the Stars have made their way into the fabric of sports around here? Because hockey was like a pretty foreign game. I mean,
Yep.
The joke I always used to make is in 1993, the city went out to the front porch to get the morning paper in, and somebody had left a hockey team on the front porch overnight.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was no real hue and cry for the game of hockey around here. And all of a sudden, there you guys were.
Yep.
And I got to think that was just a task getting it, off the ground and making it a part of the fabric of the place.
Yeah, well, my predecessor, Jim Lights, deserves a lot of credit for
Yeah.
that. I mean, he came down from Detroit, which was a hockey town in those days, brought, one of his good friend, Jeff Cogan, you probably all know.
Yep.
A guy by the name of Rick McLaughlin. Both of those guys, all those guys are now retired, but they deserve a lot of credit because they had to create this, as you talk about, Mike. They had to create the excitement. They had to create a culture around going to the games. You know, Bob Gainey was obviously the GM and the coach then. We needed players. Bob needed to get players. What's incredible now is looking back 30 years from now or later, we can get any NHL player in Dallas now that we want. I mean, this is a destination market for NHL players. So that's an incredible story right there. But
Well, one thing I know is NHL players like golf.
they do like golf. They like nice days like
Yeah,
this too.
they do.
They like good restaurants and good-looking women as well. So it all kind of comes together in this city. And again, I think, you know, going back to those days, those guys had to start. They had to sell it. They had to create a culture. They had to create entertainment around the game. That's one thing that's been consistent. People that come to our games for the first time, and it's still incredible. I got people coming with me in the suite tonight that have never been to a Dallas Stars game. And so when they come, nobody walks out of that building saying that was boring. And that's a testament to guys like Groobs, to all the people that have been through our organization that have created the in-game entertainment experience. And then you got to give a lot of credit to our players. And we've been really blessed to be able to get top-tier guys. I mean, Brett Hull came here, in the late 90s to play in Dallas. Think about that. Joe Newendike, he was traded, but, Mike Madonna was drafted. I mean, all those guys are still a big part of the fabric of what we are, and now what we've done and what Jim Nill and his staff have done to create by drafting, for the most part, all of this core. And if you want to get into the story of how we got Rantanen, that is an incredible story as well, and how we made that trade. But that's testament to what I just said. Mikko Rantanen wanted to come to Dallas.
Did he?
He did.
All right, well, let's get into that. Tell us a little bit about what got Mikko Rantanen here.
Well, it started with, obviously, him getting traded by Colorado, which I think took everybody by surprise. He gets traded to the East to the team in North Carolina. Why am I drawing a blank?
Hurricanes.
The Hurricanes. Yeah, exactly. He gets traded to the Hurricanes and didn't really want to stay there for whatever reason. And I remember 2 weeks, before the trade deadline, Jim came to me and said, I think we can get Mikko Rantanen. And I was like, are you serious? And, he mapped out, how we thought we could do this. And then there were obviously discussions about the trade and who we were going to have to give up. And so anyway, the night before the trade deadline, I thought it was done. And we had a game that night. We were playing at the AAC. I thought it was done. I think as now the next morning when I came in there at 9 o'clock in the morning, things had changed. He walked into my office and said, I think it's dead. The money's not going to work. And so I was like, okay. And turned out Jim had been up most of the night talking to Carolina, talking to the agent about trying to get it all done. By 9:45, he was back in my office saying, I think it's done. I need you to call the owner. We need to talk about the money. And it was by 11:30, it was done, and it was in the circulation to get passed through by the NHL. So we went from 9 o'clock in the morning to not having it done. By 11:30, it was done. And I remember talking to Tom on the phone, and he asked me about the trade. What do you think? And I said, Tom, I think this guy can help us win the Stanley Cup, and I know that's what you want. And here we are.
Here we are indeed.
Yeah.
You talk about Jim Nill.
Yeah.
And he is a very, very, shall we say, understated guy. I mean, he doesn't like really to get out there. It's not like he's, a jerk or anything like that, but it's just not his style to, be out there in the middle of everything.
That's true.
But man, as a general manager,
The best.
what makes him? What makes him the best?
Incredible. His life is dedicated to this, so let's start there. He lives, breathes hockey, and I think to be an incredible general manager in pro sports today, you kind of have to be that way. So his life, his family is all, they're supportive, but he is dedicated to hockey. His knowledge of players, his instinct on talent evaluation is second to none. He has incredible patience for the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows of this sport, which are incredible.
Yeah.
You've experienced some as fans, and he's very even keel. And I think our team takes on that personality of being very even keel through wins and losses, always having, the big idea at the end or the big outcome at the end in mind. Jim understands the game better than most. He played. He has a great way with players. I think he has a great way with how to develop players and how we've used our minor league system down in Cedar Park, Texas, which is a whole nother story. How we've drafted and developed, and the kids that have come out of our American Hockey League ready to play. I mean, Alex Petrovic played in the American Hockey League, all year, and has now stepped into the playoffs and done exactly what we want him to do and what we needed him to do to help us get here while Miro was injured. And so that's another kind of understated story. He's dedicated his life to this. He knows that there's one box left to be checked.
Yeah.
Which is what we're playing for now.
You do realize that you're talking about a hockey thing that's happening in Dallas, Texas, right?
Yeah, I know. I pinch myself. But I think over the last 30 years, I like to say we've turned this into a hockey town. We have certainly.
You really have.
We have.
You have.
We have. I think it's indicative right now of the fan support, the media support is indicative, of that right now. I think youth hockey, the numbers of kids that are playing hockey have never been better. Girls that are playing hockey, the numbers have never been better. I think all of that is part of what we've developed over the last 30 years. And it's showcasing itself at the NHL level where we've drafted and we can retain and acquire really any player that we want out of the NHL. The only thing that holds us back is the cap.
Yeah. And I think the thing that people really respond to is the fact that it's a really, really good organization, top to bottom.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We try to be.
Yeah, you succeed. I mean, it's an organization where everything, just looking at it from the outside, from the standpoint that I look at it and the media looks at it, everything seems to work. Seems like you guys do everything with reason and rationale behind it.
Well, we try to, and we certainly think about, every decision that we make. I think we do factor in, the fans into things that we do, and I think that's important. I think that, just look what we did with Victory and TV, trying to make sure that all of our fans could watch the games as easy as possible while we go through this changing landscape of television and regional sports. As we talk about Jim runs as organized a hockey operations department as you can have. He's got incredible people below him. Scott White, Mark Janko, Rich Peverly are great, assistants to him in their personnel evaluation. I think we, from a business perspective, we try to do things the right way. We try to run a good, solid, fundamental business with our fan base in mind. Not all decisions can benefit fans. We have to run a business here,
right.
And we have to be able to afford players, and there are economic, issues you have to deal with. But I think everything that we do, Mike, is well thought out. We don't do anything rushed. I don't believe that we do anything off the cuff. Very, very understated business group that works for me as well. That behind the scenes, we think about everything. We think about the fan support and certainly want to do the right thing.
All right, you just mentioned something that's kind of a hot button for a lot of your fans, a lot of people, and it's affecting the entire sports landscape these days, and that's the TV thing.
Yeah.
Where do you see that going?
It's the most complicated business issue I've ever faced. The who, what, where, when, why, and how much I don't think has shown its face yet. I think consolidation needs to happen. There's too many streaming opportunities. There's too much disruption out there. I was listening to Barry Diller yesterday on CNBC, a well-known media executive, and when people like that don't really know where the clear pathway is for TV, I think that tells you that nobody knows. So nobody knows. I obviously believe, and we believe, that streaming is going to be a big part of the regional sports landscape. It's why we did what we did. Did we go too early? Maybe. We weren't afraid to. We feel like that's where this is headed, and we wanted to rip the Band-Aid off and go there. I don't know exactly who the players are going to be. Is it going to be Amazon? Is it going to be Netflix? I don't know. Is it going to be Apple? Everyone thinks that that's going to be the case. I don't know. I don't know if the leagues are going to solve the problem. I think that they are. MLB, NHL, NBA are all going to figure out some way at the league level to make all this work. That's really complicated too. Trying to get 30 different markets at different valuations, different levels to all agree on the money, et cetera. So it's a very complicated story. It's going to be something that for media like you follow it, because it's going to be dynamic over the next 3 or 4 years as to how this all plays out. I think we're in a good position. I don't know how this all goes. I don't know if APMC gets acquired, which is our partner in this. Do they become an acquiree? I do know consolidation has to happen.
I was going to say, just even, I believe it was last weekend with the Rangers, they had, a game on Victory Plus on Friday, Apple TV on Saturday, and Roku on Sunday.
Yeah.
I might have had Friday and Saturday switched, but people are happy to have Victory Plus, but it definitely gets a little murky when you don't totally know if every game is going to be on there, and it's, oh crap, I need to buy Roku now, and
it's almost like we got to go back to the days of TV Guide,
right,
to show us where we are.
Yeah.
Think about that. Remember that in the 70s?
Hey,
TV Guide.
I found myself having to do that last week.
Right.
You know?
Where are the Rangers tonight? Where are the Stars tonight? I mean, yeah, and that is it's confusing, and it's unfortunate for fans when they're trying to, even, hey, is tonight's game on ESPN or TNT?
Yeah.
You got to, and then if you have a streaming, how do I get to TNT? It's just not easy as flipping the dial like it was in the past, and we all knew where the games are. I think ultimately that's a byproduct of the splintering of the business. The teams and the leagues are obviously having to do all this to protect their economic interests, which are very, very important. But that's what I talk about. Consolidation needs to happen so that becomes easier for the consumer to be able to find their teams. Where's it at? So that we're not having to find TV guides to search, hey, where are we at tonight? And I think, and then we all have to figure out, how can this become economically viable? I think the reality is the golden days of television are probably over. This is going to settle in at a level economically and financially way below where we were comfortable with and what we were achieving before. And we're all going to have to settle into kind of that new normal and move on. It's why I talk about, as an organization, we have to find new revenue streams beyond what used to be the traditional ones from 10 years ago. The business is going to evolve, and the teams and franchises that will evolve with it and continue to find new ways to grow will be the ones that succeed in the next generation. You can't act like where it was in 2015. 2025 is going to be way different than that.
Yeah. It's a very murky thing.
Yeah.
Just a really murky, unclear picture out there.
And it is for you, and it is for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where it has been, though, a blessing. As much as I still have feelings in my heart for, I guess, now FanDuel Sports Southwest, but I was also working at Fox Sports Southwest all through most of the last, 10, 15 years, and seeing the change of all these people now that are able to watch the Stars and the Rangers compared to just last year. I know both teams have put out numbers recently where it looks like, the audience has essentially doubled just because people can actually find the damn games. And so it's been an interesting transition from, it's always been cable TV. That's where, Rangers, Stars, Mavs. You just go to Fox Sports Southwest and you're there. And now it's a little bit splintered, obviously, with Mavs TV also existing. But it's definitely a hell of a lot better situation this season than the years before.
Well, we went into it knowing what you just described, that the business was splintering. A majority of certainly people under 40 were not able to get the games because they were not on linear, television anymore. They were streaming and they were cord cutters. And so they had no real, access to our games. So we went into it trying to fix distribution, and then we had to fix, the economics and make sure that we could make money with it. And I think what we've done after 1 year with Victory Plus is we certainly have fixed the distribution. Anybody that can get it can now get it for the most part. I mean, they're obviously out of market is still an issue, but if you're in market, you can get it. We talked about and debated at great length, should we charge? We went with a free model so that we could be very simple. People are, they've got credit card fatigue. We knew sophisticated streamers would figure out ways around paywalls anyway. So we did it. And I think we've shown with our numbers that we have addressed the distribution issue. Now we've got to figure out the economics and make sure that its long-term viability is there so that we can, support a franchise with this. And I think that's still, the work to be done going into the second year. But no, you're exactly right. I mean, I've got an 18-year-old daughter. She doesn't know what cable is. She doesn't know what a satellite is. She's like, Dad, you used to have a satellite on the roof? I'm like, yes.
Well,
she doesn't know what
we
that
kind of
is.
did.
Right. So, we're dealing with the generation, Mike and I, that grew up on cable television, and yet my daughter doesn't even know what that is. I mean, they're streaming, they watch everything on a device. So we've got to bridge the divides there from, we've got fans that are 50 and above, and we've got fans at 18 and below that we've got to, be able to distribute this content to. So to your point, it's very complicated, convoluted. It's not going to be an issue that's going to be resolved anytime soon. It's going to take some time for this to play out. I think over the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be interesting.
Do you have frequent conversations with others in the league about this?
Nonstop. I even spoke to the MLB presidents about it
really?
earlier this year. I went on they were having an owners meeting, and the presidents were there having a presidents meeting about television, and I went on for 20 minutes and talked about Victory Plus. So yes, everybody's talking about this, Mike. Every league is. Every team president is having these discussions. Some are in a better position than others. Some are still attached to the old model, which Groob's mentioned is now FanDuel. Others like us have gone to the new divide and are breaking new territory and pioneering this. So yeah, everybody's in a different place. Every market's different. Small markets are treated differently than the big markets. It's not like we had a lot of options though, being in this. And I've talked about that. When we got into this a couple years ago, and I said, holy smokes, what are we going to do here if they go under? It's not like I had 5 or 6 different options.
Right.
We only had a couple, and none of them were great. So we ended up here, and I think we're in a good spot.
How do you feel about the way you've gone? How's that working for you?
I think it's been good. I mean, you guys have all watched. I mean, trust me, if it sucked for the fan, I would have heard about it. And I did not get a lot of emails from our fans about Victory Plus. We had a few technology hiccups, which I knew we were going to have. Mm-hmm. To APMC's credit, they stepped in right away and resolved those. They knew exactly what went wrong. So we did not have a lot of technology glitches. If they were, a lot of them were user error. And once people figured it out, they got comfortable with it. I think access to the games was fantastic. I broke the year up into kind of 3 time periods. From October until Christmas, that's football season. Mm-hmm. We looked at the numbers there. From December until February, it's kind of the hybrid. College football's gone away. It's just pro. And then from February on to the first round of the playoffs, and you can just see our growth. From October right to April was fantastic. And so now going into year 2, we're going to make some adjustments and try to tack on and see some improvement from all those different metrics. But now we know exactly what to expect.
Yeah. Ready for another real world issue?
Sure.
How do you make the date thing at the AAC work this time of year?
Oh,
I mean,
my
if the Mavericks were in the playoffs,
yeah,
plus everything else that they may have going on there.
Katy Perry concert?
Yeah, I was going to say, they kicked Katy Perry's ass out of the AAC.
Yeah. We just moved her.
I know.
It's that is a delicate thing that the leagues have to work, with our building on. We always leave the playoff months somewhat open from a concert booking perspective, just in case the teams win. The AAC also puts clauses in concert promoter agreements that if this happened, like what happened tonight, we have the right to move you. So Dave Brown and his staff at the AAC consulted with Katy Perry's agent on moving the show, and all settled on, let's just put it on Thursday night rather than Wednesday night. And so that's what happened. So there's a little bit of inconvenience that comes with that, but that's how that got worked out. And that's how you have to work through this. The leagues carve out the dates with our building, so we don't ever really overbook from a third-party perspective from April until June, and then they try to go hard in the summer.
Yeah.
Because of this reason. Now they'll mix in, assorted shows like this one, and it just happened that we ended up with a problem that we had to deal with. But that's how they deal with it.
A lot of if-then there.
There is a lot of if-thens. That's exactly right. Because you don't know. We didn't know that we were going to win that game. If we win, then this happens. If we lose, then something else happens. So it's the joy of the playoffs.
Another thing that you hear a lot about, or starting to hear a lot about, is the idea of a new arena.
Yeah.
Now, I like the AAC myself.
Yeah.
It's been everything that they told us it would be.
Yep.
I mean, you were there for some of the reunion arena days,
Oh, yeah.
weren't you?
Yep, for sure.
Okay. Well, I mean, I like the AAC, but you keep hearing stuff about Stars and Mavs are going somewhere, or Mavs are going somewhere, Stars are not, vice versa, Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about where all that sits these days?
Well, that's going to become now my most complicated business problem. I just told you TV was. This is going to going to take it over.
Feels like it doesn't slow down for you.
It does not slow down. I drew the short straw on the timeline of how being the president of this team, having to deal with all of these major issues
Yeah,
in the
thanks
business.
a lot, Jim.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, the answer to that question is, again, complicated. Obviously, the Mavs have told us for now a number of years. Mark did it years ago when he owned the team, told us that was his interest. He wanted to build a basketball-only facility. He even had told me that, his interest was to have a casino with it, all those good things. So none of this is a surprise to us that the Mavericks have wanted to build a basketball-only facility. And that's kind of the trend, to be honest, in the NBA anyway. My daughter goes to Kansas. I've been to Allen Fieldhouse. I get a basketball-only facility. And when you have to build the rink configuration in there, it creates a different environment for hoops. So I get that completely. And so they have, they've told the city, they've told us, they've told everybody publicly that that's their desire. What we have to figure out is if that's what they're going to do, are we going to stay, to your point, will be affected, in 2035. And I use the analogy, I don't want the franchise to die before they knew that it was sick. And you got to be careful that you think through what's going to happen 10 years from now with these decisions. So it's complicated. We obviously have interest from a number of other, what I'll call suburban cities, although they're not really suburbs, that would like to have the Stars, in their area. And so we're doing that due diligence as well right now. And that's complicated. There's a lot of people that share those same sentiments, Mike, that you just have, that like the AAC, that like the location of it. It does not, I take very seriously the economic development in that area that is dependent on sports games like tonight, and what would happen, if we move. So there's just a lot to weigh in on where the future of the Stars are going to be. But I think the good news is this city and this market has really matured, and I think there's great places for sports to be had here. And certainly the city of Dallas is one of those.
I'm so used to going to the AAC for stuff that it's hard to fathom going anywhere else. But it was the same way with Reunion. So I guess,
you'll get used to it if we move.
Right.
But I'm not saying we are by any stretch, because we're not ready to make that declaration or assessment yet. There are a lot of good things about the AAC. There's also, for someone like me, I see all its warts. It's 25 years old now, and it has warts, and those things have to be addressed, again, to prepare the franchise for the future. You've got to understand where this business is going.
Right. Can
this building and can the area continue to support the sports and entertainment business that's necessary to do it, so that we can continue to pay the Mikko Rantanens of the NHL to come here so that we can have games like we're going to have tonight.
How appealing is the idea of moving to one of the suburbs for you? I know that's a very open-ended question like, which one are you talking about? What are they willing to do for us? But as you think about that prospect today, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not going to say that it's appealing yet because we don't have enough information. We're in the middle of kind of fact gathering period.
Appealing was the wrong word.
So I don't know how to say that. Again, it's so complicated. We have to understand so many different things. Building an arena, as you can imagine, is a very complex, highly expensive venture. And you need public-private support. You need public-private help in order to make all of that work. This business, top-line revenue is our best friend. We need to make sure that we can continue to grow top-line revenue in order to continue to be a cap team, to be a top team in the NHL, which is where we are today. The AAC has helped us do that compared to where Reunion was, 25, 30 years ago. We need to think about where the business is going and prepare the franchise. And I think that's all, that's part of what we're going to do over the next 6 to 8 months. In 6 months, I'll probably be able to say to you that something appeals to me.
Right.
Because we'll have far more information than we have now. Right now, we have very, very high level discussions and interest. We got to drill down and get to 10,000 feet, not 150,000 feet, in order to say, is this going to be good for the Stars long term? And that includes staying at AAC.
Yeah.
I would like for you to stay because I live within walking distance.
You're right. And
Everybody's
there's going to
got
be a
their
lot
own
of people
agenda.
like that.
I was one of them too.
I know.
It was glorious. So
Yeah.
This
Not a bad
is
thing.
Brad Alberts, the CEO and president of the Dallas Stars. And right now, it is time for the dreaded mid-roll read. This is where we stop down and I do what amounts to a live spot. What if I told you you could free yourself of pain, anxiety, and sleepless nights? Would you like that? What if you could do it naturally? At the CBD House of Healing, that is a women-owned CBD boutique. They would like to help. They can help. They carry only products from their lab made to meet the highest quality and purity standards. Their owner is also an RN, emphasizes building trusted relationships through education. They will give you the knowledge to care for yourself. That's their ultimate goal. So find your relief from the aches and pains, the emotional stress and drain, and sleep again. CBDDallas.com. They're at 8550 Plano Road, Suite 101. That's at the northeast quadrant of Plano Road and Northwest Highway here in Dallas. Begin your healing at the House of Healing. Is that it? Oh, okay. All right.
Commerce.
Commerce spot number 2. No job is too big. No pup is too small. The 25th of May, YDC is back at Riders Field for Paw Patrol Night with Chase and Sky. You'll want to be there when Groovy Grooves makes his first appearance in the Lazy River. Also, don't miss the Lazy River Party. Be part of the pregame party, 3:30 to 4:30. That includes Chase's appearance in the Lazy River from 4 to 4:30 for just a $20 add-on. What you need to do is go to milb.com/Frisco/tickets/specials. There's a lot of slashes there. But just go to FriscoRoughRiders.com and you'll figure it out. You can purchase your tickets with the Lazy River Party add-on and bring your own pup. Your dog gets in free with the purchase of a ticket. So come hang on the family lawn with your furry friend. First pitch is at 6:05.
Also, don't go to FriscoRoughRiders.com because that
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
seem to
that's
work.
Oh, that's not
I
going
think
to
it
work?
tried to
No, it's
spam my computer.
MILB.
All right, well, screw me then.
Maybe just Google search if you don't want to put in the URL.
Yeah, it's all too complicated anyway.
We're here for you.
All right, so this is Brad Alberts, the president and CEO of the Dallas Stars. We're talking to him about what's going on with the club, some of the more existential issues that they're facing down the road. But moreover than that, what they're facing in the here and now. And that is being in the Final Four. Could you tell us a little bit about the kind of value, not only money, but in other facets as well, that a playoff run like this has for the club?
Well, trust me, I like being here. So that tells you everything you need to know. And to be here 3 years in a row, I mean, we're going to have record financial earnings, again this year, and we have the last 3 years. So I think that tells you everything you need to know about what this means financially and business-wise for the club. I think what it also does is what we were talking about earlier. It just strengthens everything that we're doing. It increases the fandom. It increases viewership. Hopefully, it increases young kids wanting to learn how to play and get on skates and get to all these rinks that we've built in and around, the Metroplex, and really, really help to, establish the sport as a sport that's really, really part of Texas culture now. And I take great pride in saying that Texas, and Dallas is a hockey town. And we all know it. Football is culture here. We realize that. And I realize that, better than anyone. That doesn't mean that hockey doesn't have a place. I always say Duke and North Carolina, are two schools 6 miles from one another. It doesn't mean that one sucks and the other one is good. They both can be good. We can have a hockey culture here and embrace football culture as well. And I think we've done that. And I think these kind of runs help establish that.
Now, see, that's what I've always thought. There is room for all of it.
There is.
Out there.
There's no doubt. And
it doesn't have to be a football town, a baseball town, a hockey, whatever. There's room for all of it.
We're a sports town, like Chicago, like New York, like Boston, LA. In fact, I can make the argument that we're getting to be maybe the top sports market with the brands, the personalities, the number of activities and sports that are here. It's hard to beat it. The competition for all this, and to your point, there's fans for all of it. The population growth in the DFW area can support all this. Yeah. You just got to do it the right way and be good.
Yeah. Another thing about the Stars organization that I really like is that to the distant viewer, such as myself, it seems to be a pretty happy, groovy bunch where everybody gets along. Now, I'm sure that behind the scenes, there's who knows what going on. And I'm not asking you to elaborate on that. I know you wouldn't anyway. But just from a distance, it seems to be an organization that really pulls together.
Well,
and we've seen what the other side of that looks like around here.
No comment.
I'm not asking for that. I'm here to protect you, Brad.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, I appreciate you saying that, and I do think that we do that, and I think that a great deal of that feeling comes from your experience at the arena and what we do with our show and our entertainment. And that is where everybody comes together. Groobs knows he worked there for a long time. And I think we try to create a really, really fun experience for fans. And I think we've done that for 30 years. I really do. And I've seen the evolution of it. I've seen what we did at AAC, or at Reunion, and then what we've done at AAC over the last 25 years. It is an organization that knows that we have to do big things, that we want to do big things. We embrace doing big things. We're not afraid of them. We're not afraid to host the Winter Classic and sell 85,000 tickets at the Cotton Bowl. I knew it would happen. We did it. I knew Dallas would respond. And the organization, I think, shares in that we want to do those things. We want to be big. Going back to what I just talked about, DFW is a big sports, marketplace. I also understand where hockey is, and we have to be big in order to continue to get attention. It's easy to just fall back in place and have everybody kind of just make you irrelevant and focus on everything else that's going on here. And we don't do that, and we're not going to do that as long as I'm the president of this team, because we're going to think big, we're going to execute big, we're going to pull together to do those things. And I think that's one of the reasons why we can execute on these big things, is that we get everybody, rowing in the same direction.
Yeah, and the vibe that shows on the vibe on the ice as well. Mm-hmm. And even no matter who the coach has been, be it Hitch or Pete DeBoer or whoever it's been, it's always been that way. It's always seemed like a really together bunch.
Yeah, and I think we take great pride in that. And I think the players and the hockey staff know I'm in their corner. We're separated. I oversee the business, but we're not separated. I talk to the coaches. They know I'm in their corner. Jim and I have a great relationship. We communicate on every issue. I know exactly what we're doing with our team and vice versa. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's why, and I think that's what championship organizations have. It doesn't come without disagreements on issues and players and all those kind of things, and you have to have those. But we have them in a professional manner, and we end up in coming to an agreement and moving forward.
Do you talk to your people a lot about chemistry?
I talk to my people a lot about execution because I think this business is an execution business. You got to be able to do things. There's a lot of people that can come in and do what Groobs is doing and whiteboard and come up with ideas.
He does it well.
Right.
Thank you.
And you got to be able to execute on those in this business to do it well. And I think you have to have chemistry to do that. I mean, through sales and marketing, the ticket, the sponsorship people all have to be aligned on how we're going to do things. But yeah, I mean, we have great chemistry, and I preach execution.
Yeah, yeah. You just seem like the kind of guy that would really strive to build good chemistry and then make sure that everybody's on the same page. We're all pulling them on the rope together here.
Yeah, I think that's
got to be really important.
It is really important. I think, modern day business, collaborative leadership and collaborative communication is really important. It's not just a buzzword. And what I mean by that is, I have senior executives and I go to them and get their opinions on things. You never want to just have everything through your own lens. And it's important to hear from fans. It's important to hear from my executive team. We've got women, we've got men. I mean, everybody has a different perspective on things. And I think it's important to see that in this business and understand that when coming to a decision on what we do. Victory Plus was a perfect example. We vetted that throughout our organization. Everybody had a chance to weigh in. And ultimately, I looked at everybody and said, are we ready to do this? And they all said, Brad, we are. And we were 100% committed. There wasn't one dissenting member in our group.
You talking to us, talking about all of these issues, everything you guys deal with, obviously overwhelming, but the confidence that you exude, I'm going to assume also comes from an owner that is letting you do the job and trusting you and is supportive.
Yeah, and Tom is. And Tom is supportive, and he's a part of these big decisions that we make. I mean, obviously, he was involved in the Rantanen, trade, as I just described, and Tom was a big part of Victory Plus. I mean, we walked him through the model, we walked him through why we wanted to do it, and he was supportive of that. So, yeah, I think it is top down, and I think we take great pride in that, and hopefully, what you're talking about manifests itself in the next month.
What's been the biggest surprise for you, if there has been one, about the product on the ice this year?
The biggest surprise was getting Mikko Rantanen on our team, and I keep tonight when I walk in there and I hear Ralph Strangis going, Brad, can you believe Mikko Rantanen's on our team? I will pinch myself as well and say, holy smokes, Mikko Rantanen is on our team. And watching him do what he's done, I don't know that we've ever had a player like this. Hully and Mo, I love them. I don't think they were this. And what does he have, 19 points or something through 2 rounds? I mean, it's crazy. I think that's the biggest surprise. I knew we were going to be good. I knew it wasn't going to be easy because we've been, to the Western Finals the last 2 years. To get back here, I knew was going to be challenging. And man, we had to go through Colorado without Robo and Miro. Think about that.
Yeah.
And we did it. We basically had to beat Winnipeg without Miro. He came at the end. So we've overcome a lot of challenges. We had more pucks hitting guys in the face than any team in the league. So we had broken noses and you name it. And I think this group, as Pete talks about, we're a veteran group. We're battle tested. Hopefully the question that you just asked me hasn't been answered yet. And the biggest surprise will be still what's to come.
It's got to give you confidence, though, that you've been able to come this far.
Oh, yeah.
Going through all that.
I feel way better today than I did before Colorado, knowing that we had to beat them without Miro and Robo.
Yeah.
We now have our full team. We have a healthy Miro who's flying. I think our organization, as you know, we're quietly confident. And I think I share that sentiment just like everybody else does. We're ready to go tonight.
All right. Well, if you're ready to go, we're ready to go too. Let's
See
do
y'all there.
this. Let's do this.
Let's go.
Brad, can I?
I have something else.
All right, go ahead.
Because I understand you went to Ripon College.
How did you find that out?
It's out
She
there.
knows things.
It's out there. I know things.
I did a long time ago.
And I understand you played basketball.
I did.
And
Yes,
you're in their Sports Hall of Fame.
I did. Yes, a long time ago.
I have a nephew who's playing soccer for them.
Oh,
right
really?
now. Yes.
Small world.
Yes.
Yes.
Jackson Zielinski is out there killing it.
All right.
But yeah, I was really intrigued and actually said to Mike, hey, he went to Ripon College. And he said, Ripon College? And then he told me a whole story about why he knew all about Ripon College. But I wanted to get out there. It's interesting that you played basketball, a completely different sport, completely
I did. I grew
different
up.
background. Was that? But
My dad was a basketball coach. People have asked me, did you ever have a chance to play hockey? And where I grew up, as crazy as it sounds, in southern Wisconsin, Lake Geneva area, half hour from Milwaukee, there was no hockey to be played. Not one boy my age played hockey that I know of growing up. And we would have had to drive to Madison, which would have been an hour away to do that. My parents were not going to do that in those days. So I didn't have the opportunity to play. My dad was a basketball coach, high school basketball coach. So I grew up playing football, basketball, and baseball, played quarterback as well. And yeah, I started to get good at hoops in high school, and then, had the blessing to go to Ripon. I've always said the two best decisions in my life were to go to Ripon to play basketball. I loved it. I had a blast. We were really good. We played Division III, which is really good up in the north, and especially in Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin. There's high quality competition there. The two best decisions were to go to Ripon and then leaving there and coming to Dallas.
Want to know what I know about Ripon?
Yes. What is that?
In 1960, the American Football League started.
Okay.
Do you know where this is going?
I do not.
Okay. The American Football League started, and my dad would take me to the Dallas Texans games
Okay.
at the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
Their fiercest rival was the Houston Oilers. They had a guy on their team, a fullback, who was just a badass, named Dave Smith.
Okay.
He went to Ripon.
No way.
Yeah. And
Wow.
that detail has been ingrained in my mind for years, and I never thought I would get a chance to whip it out. But
Fullback for the Houston Oilers in
Yes.
the AFL played at Ripon.
yes,
Wow. Well, Al Giroux went to Ripon.
did
If
he?
you remember Al.
Yeah.
And here's the big one. I bet you don't know the big actor. Do you know the big actor?
do.
Harrison Ford went to Ripon.
he did.
He
Okay,
did.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Harrison Ford
I
went
learned
there.
this because of Jackson, but yes.
Yeah, Harrison Ford is from, I believe, Appleton, Wisconsin. He went to Ripon. I don't believe he graduated. What's even funnier is he left Ripon and he began acting in a small Delavan Lake theater. You can go look this up, and that's where I grew up, in Delavan. Delavan Lake and Lake Geneva are basically right next to each other. They're separated by the lakes. And there was a Delavan Lake theater in the 60s, and Harrison Ford started acting there. I found there's newspaper clippings from the Delavan Enterprise, which is the hometown newspaper, of him acting at that theater back in the 60s. So
That's pretty fun.
Dick Bennett went there too, the old coach, the basketball coach at Wisconsin, if
Yeah.
you remember him.
Yeah.
His son Tony played in the NBA, Virginia coach. So Dick, he played there back in the 60s. So we've got some famous alums.
Yes, you did.
By the way, Harrison Ford expelled from Ripon.
Yes.
Ripon?
Correct, Ripon, yeah.
For plagiarism 4 days before graduation.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't think he graduated, and there you
No,
go.
he just missed.
Right, just
Damn,
4
that's
days.
brutal.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? Don't plagiarize, and you'll graduate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
He's
It's
done
that
pretty
simple.
well.
That's a lesson
Yeah.
for all of us.
Right, exactly. Ripon's probably looking back going, why did we do that to him now?
Yeah. Does it? Yeah. Maybe give him an honorary
Yeah,
graduate or
exactly.
something.
Exactly.
Well, Brad Alberts, this has been a trip. I cannot thank you enough for coming in here and joining us on Little White AC. And man, we're pulling for him.
Thank you.
Let's go do this.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Go,
Go
Stars.
Stars.
All right. There he is, the great Brad Alberts. This has been your Dark Companion. Thank you for watching. If you would like to...
We have another read.
I'm not
Brad.
saying that.
Another read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
eventually.
You just went past it, though.
Oh, God.
Oh, I did?
Past it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Is this an e-brake?
You're fine.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, this is a knee break.
No, right. See that red line that says end of show?
Yeah.
Start right there.
Okay.
That
Clyde
makes so
Warren
much
Park
sense.
is hosting Cover to Cover, 2 stages, 8 bands. The headliner is Petty Theft. It's Saturday, the 31st of May. We're going to be rocking out there with complimentary wine tastings, a boho market, and casino-style gaming. Mi Cocina's cash bar and food trucks keep you dancing. All of this for $35. Or if you really want to go big, and this is a go big or go home world, VIP tickets include an open bar, Mi Cocina catering, and exclusive activities in the shaded comfort of the VIP area. So grab a friend for the day. VIP tickets, $125, kick off the summer with the only all-day music festival in the heart of Dallas, the 31st of May, 1 through 7:30. Brought to you by Choctaw Casino and Resort in Durant. Go to www.clydewarrenpark.org for tickets. And remember, you can find all of our episodes on our Patreon page. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify. So listen, follow, share us on your social media. That means everything to those of us who swim in the waters of the podcast. And while we're at it, if you're feeling what we're throwing down, how about a nice review? If you're by the channel on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can help others find us by leaving a review. So do a little something for your bros and sisters here at Little YDC. Thanks for watching. Bye.
All right. I'm gonna go take my pants off.
Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.